Ever say something to a woman and suddenly notice her eyes shift? She leans in just a bit. Her tone softens. You struck a nerve. Not with cheesy pickup lines, but with something deeper. Power. Raw masculine energy cloaked inside a compliment. Most guys don't even realize these kinds of compliments exist. But once you become aware, the game changes completely. Chances are, you've complimented a woman before. Told her she's beautiful, intelligent, maybe that she's got a cute smile. And what happened? She offered a polite smile and continued on with her day. You became just another forgettable voice among the crowd of guys hoping to win her over. But here's the real truth. Women aren't starving for compliments. They're starving for validation from a man they can truly respect. And that's the point where 99% of men get it wrong. They hand out approval like it's Halloween candy. There's no presence in it, no weight, no tension. By the time this video ends, you'll understand the top 3 forbidden compliments that make women think about you for days. Compliments that trigger something deep in her core. Ones that make her stop seeing you as a boy and start seeing you as a man with composure, presence, and an edge that feels dangerous in a way she can't quite explain. This matters because most guys give up their power just to get attention. But the men who understand how to hold their frame, who know how to speak with intention, they don't chase attraction, they draw it in. This is about masculine communication, words used like weapons. Compliments not meant to flatter, but to guide. Here's where most men fail. They believe a compliment is supposed to make her feel good. But no, the right compliment makes her feel seen. It makes her pause and ask how you figured her out. It makes her wonder who exactly you are, and why she's suddenly craving your approval. Now listen closely, because this is where real dominance begins. The first forbidden compliment: you're more dangerous than you look. That's not about physical beauty. It's about depth, mystery, the edge beneath the surface. It flips the way she sees herself. She'll ask, wait, what do you mean? Maybe laugh, a little unsure. But inside her mind, the wheels are turning. How did he notice that? What else does he see? You're not saying it for shock value. You're making an observation like a man who has studied people and knows what he's looking at. Her ego feels flattered, but also challenged. That right there is tension. And tension, paired with stillness, is what sparks attraction. This is where Stoicism comes into play. Speak with a calm tone, look her straight in the eyes. Don't say it to stir a reaction. Say it because you saw something real and called it out without needing a response. Let her chase the meaning. Let her hunger for the validation she didn't even know she was missing. The second forbidden compliment cuts deeper because it doesn't revolve around her appearance. It targets her mind. You don't let people see how smart you really are, do you? Now pause. Let it settle. You didn't just say she's intelligent, you said she hides it. You peeled back the mask. You went beyond what most guys even think to explore. You stepped into a place of emotional intelligence and quiet dominance. And here's what she's now thinking. How does he know that? She's not used to being understood, especially not by a man. Most men either ignore her intellect or put it on a pedestal. But you simply observe, you reveal, you shake her equilibrium in the most seductive way. This is where most guys miss the mark. They think attraction is about volume, big flashy compliments and exaggerated praise. But true attraction is surgical. It's quiet. It's rooted in calm confidence and stoic control. You're not trying to impress her. You already live as someone impressed by yourself. That compliment works for 3 reasons. 1, it acknowledges her intelligence, a rare move. 2, it signals you see beneath the surface. And 3, it frames you as someone who reads people rather than reacts to them. Women are emotional, yes, but the man who knows how to spark curiosity without revealing everything, he lives rent-free in her thoughts. Days later, she'll still be replaying that line, wondering what you picked up on, wondering what else you see. Now bring this back to Stoicism. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's exactly the strategy here. You watch, you listen, you wait, and when you speak, it lands with impact. Not because it's loud, but because it's accurate. You're not offering a compliment, you're holding up a mirror. And the more precise that reflection, the more magnetic you become. Not because you're trying to seduce her, but because you understand her in ways even she doesn't fully grasp. And when a man does that, She doesn't just desire him, she respects him. Now focus in, because this third compliment, it's not just forbidden. It's lethal, when said with calm, grounded confidence. You feel safest when you're finally not in control, don't you? Say it slowly. Say it as if you already know it's true. Say it like you've witnessed it before. This isn't just a compliment, it's a psychological jab wrapped in subtle insight, and it changes the entire power dynamic. Now you're steering the interaction. You're revealing something she hasn't said aloud, but absolutely feels in her core. And that, right there, that's magnetic. Because here's something women rarely admit. Being in control all the time wears them out. Deep down, they long for a man who can lead, who can stay centered in the chaos. Not with force, but with steady presence. So now imagine her inner dialogue. How does he know that? Is he calling me controlling, or is he telling me I can finally relax around him? You've created a paradox. You've triggered reflection. You've shaken her, but in a way that pulls her closer. And here's the secret. It only works if it's real. You can't fake it. You have to be the man who lives in that grounded state. She has to feel that with you she can release. That your masculinity isn't brash or erratic. It's quiet, unwavering, and centered. You're not trying to dominate her. You've simply mastered yourself. That's Stoicism. You don't react. You respond. You don't chase. You choose. You don't seduce. You reveal. Most men try to impress women by proving value. But this flips the entire dynamic. Now she wants to prove herself to you. Because you saw something in her no one else did. And you did it all while keeping steady eye contact. She'll be hooked. Not because of what you said, but because of what you left unsaid. You left open space. You didn't explain yourself. And in that silence, she felt your strength. Because real power doesn't come from being the loudest. It comes from discipline, from certainty, from knowing who you are and letting her feel that without needing to convince her. Now here's what separates the boys from the men. You've got these 3 forbidden compliments. You know how to deliver them. But if you don't live them, if you're not the man who backs them up with energy and presence, they mean nothing. This isn't about tricks. It's not manipulation. It's about stepping fully into the man that women naturally respect. The one who doesn't need their approval, who doesn't beg for attention, who stays composed when tested, because she will test you. She'll press your buttons. She'll withdraw emotionally just to see how you react. Not because she dislikes you, but because she needs to feel your edges. She wants to know, are you solid or are you soft? And if you react, if you chase with compliments, with validation, with needy energy, you lose. But if you stay grounded, if you don't flinch, she'll feel it. Because deep down, every woman desires a man who can walk away without losing himself. So when you say something like, you're more dangerous than you look, or you don't let people see how smart you are, or you feel safest when you're not in control, you better say it from a place of deep, steady power. No desperation, no expectations, just truth. And then you'll notice something unusual. Those compliments won't push her away. They'll pull her in, not toward your words, but toward your presence. That masculine stillness rooted in logic and discipline. Because the most attractive man in any room, he's not the loudest. He's the one whose silence feels heavy, the one who doesn't blink when challenged, the one who sees the game and only plays it on his own terms. Want to make this real? Talk less. Watch more. Study her. Compliment her with your awareness, not with your thirst for validation. Make her feel seen by a man who doesn't need her, but deliberately chooses her. And remember, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, Marcus Aurelius. Be the man who speaks with impact, rarely but powerfully. The man whose presence creates gravity. And when you give a compliment, make it unforgettable. Not because it stroked her ego, but because it showed her something real. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.